Friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will speak about Fatehpur Sikri, which has become the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986. Fatehpur represents an enigma for the student of medieval Indian history. A city brilliantly conceived and actualized was abandoned after just 14 years as the imperial capital of one of the mightiest empires in Indian history. Descended as they were from the peripatetic warrior clans of Timur and Genghis Khan, early Mughals were quite accustomed to life in tented encampments. Babur, it is said, was happiest in a tent pitched in a pleasant garden. The hapless Humayun was much too besieged as an emperor to devote much attention to buildings, although it must be said that he did begin to lay the foundation of a city called Dinpanha in Delhi. However, his architectural ambitions were rudely cut short by Sher Shah Suri, who wrested not only his throne but also his city project. By the time Akbar became the emperor in 1556, the Mughal Empire had settled down. By the late 1550s, Akbar had survived rebellions and attempted coups and had begun to win control over increasing areas in North India. One of Akbar's earliest public expressions of his intended autonomy emerged from his decision not to make the imperial capital. Instead, he embarked upon an extensive program of urban construction and fortification. For 2.5 centuries, Delhi had been the unassailable redoubt, the refuge of the Indian Muslims, and the seat of the Sultans of Hindustan. By moving from Delhi to Agra and later to his own capital at Fatehpur Sikri, Akbar reduced the existing associations of legitimate rulership with Delhi. Neither Akbar nor a possible rebel henceforth could easily claim the imperial throne by virtue of possession of the citadels, the palaces of the active support of a volatile populace of the old imperial city. For more than 15 years, Akbar diverted much of his resources towards the building of the massive palace fortresses, like Agra, defending the gateway to central Hindustan. Second, Allahabad, Prayag, Triveni Sangam, and presently the Prayagraj, commanding the eastern Gangetic Valley. And third, Lahore, the capital of the Muslim military garrison since Ghaznavid times. Convinced about the importance of the architecture in empire building, Akbar embarked on a sustained and systematic program of construction. Beginning in 1560s, Akbar constructed forts in Agra and Lahore, and smaller ones at Attock, Allahabad, Jaunpur and Ajmer. In 1571, Akbar decided to build himself a capital city for it he chose Sikri, a village on the road between the Mughals' imperial center at Agra and their spiritual center at Ajmer. Unlike Agra, that was a thriving center of trade, Sikri was just a little village, which had first come to Mughal notice when Babur, triumphant after the defeating of Rana Sanga at Kanhwa in 1527, named the village Shukri, meaning thanksgiving. As chronicles attest, Akbar's choice of the site was largely governed by the presence there of Sheikh Selim Chishti, a Sufi saint who had predicted that the hairless Akbar would soon be blessed with not one, but 3 sons, by situating his imperial capital on ground hallowed by the popular mystic. Akbar sought to attach the charisma of the Sufis to his imperial authority. Fatehpur Sikri reflected Akbar's design and architectural philosophy. This Akbari style of architecture consisted of a synthesis of earlier styles, Timurid, Persian and Indian, The lavish use of red sandstone sought to minimize the stylistic clashes consequent to the mixing of these disparate elements. The emperor's own interest in the construction was all-consuming. He even quarried stone himself alongside the workmen, says Father Montserrat, the Jesuit father who visited the city in 1580. Built by a single ruler in a relatively short span of 15 years, there was thus a certain architectural coherence to the city, conceived as a courtly centre. Fatehpur Sikri rose rapidly from a nondescript village to a thriving centre of commerce once Akbar's court took seat here in 1571-72. Historians estimate that the total population of Fatehpur Sikri in 1580 was just short of 250,000. In 1585, the English traveller Ralph Fitch visited the city at its peak and wrote, "Agra and Fatehpur are two very great cities, either of them much greater than London and very populous." It was at Fatehpur Sikri in 1569 that his son and heir Selim was born. It was from here that Akbar marched out to Gujarat in 1572 and returned victorious the following year. To celebrate his triumph, the emperor renamed Sikri as Fatehpur, meaning the city of victory, and endowed it with a monumental commemorative doorway, the Buland Darwaja. However, in 1585, only 14 years after it was built, Akbar and his court left Fatehpur Sikri, never to return again. Political exigencies made him move his capital to Lahore till 1598. Thank you. Friends, if you find my video informative, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you. See you soon in my next video.